Welcome to the next installment of my bookshelf tours. Today we are going to go over my mythology shelves. I have been a huge mythology fan, particularly a Greek mythology fan, of course, since the 5th grade when I read Percy Jackson for the first time. Mythology had a huge grip on me when I was a child, and it literally never released me. I read mostly Greek mythology, but I also do love reading about other cultures, other mythologies, other folklore, everything else. Now this shelf up here is almost exclusively mythology retellings, and again, almost exclusively all Greek mythology retellings. And then down here is going to be more so the actual mythology, books that tell you a ton of myths all at the same time. It's a lot of folk tales, a lot of illustrated books, as well as some other miscellaneous books that I have in here. For decor, this one's pretty easy because I only have these two things that are both from Illumicrate. This first one is a little tea kettle that is just, oh my god, I absolutely love it so much. It is Olympus on one side and then the underworld on the other. It is just absolutely stunning and I love it so much. The other thing is this Greek myths book plate. It houses all of my bookmarks. I love matching my bookmarks to the books that I'm currently reading, so I have quite a collection, and this book plate is just beyond stunning. I ran out of room on other shelves, so I do also have all of my Tolkien books up here. Obviously, these are going to be the Lord of the Rings in their very beautiful edition. I mean, I found these while I was in the UK one year, and I could not say no. They are some of the most beautiful books that I own. I mean, even the backs are absolutely stunning. Could not say no to those. And then this absolutely incredible version of The Hobbit that I got at Shakespeare & Co. in my very first trip to Paris when I went with my family quite a long time ago. I think maybe 2015. Absolutely obsessed with this version. Also down below here I do have this box set of the Lord of the Rings. They do have pictures on the front from the movies. This is just a very lovely set that I found for pretty cheap. $4. And sitting up here is the rest of my Tolkien collection. I find a lot of these for cheap, very cheap. I have not yet read any of them because I've found them all since high school and I have not reread The Lord of the Rings since high school. This year, that changes. I am incredibly beyond excited to reread The Lord of the Rings this year. Okay, now the rest of this top shelf is all mythology retellings. Starting with the one after Percy Jackson that started it all. This is The Goddess of Yesterday. I found this while I was in college, either for very cheap or for free. And it is a Trojan War retelling told from the perspective of a little girl. And I reread this and was like, remind me why I stopped reading mythology retellings. I've gotten most of the rest of these in Waterstones. Don't ask me why, I just normally like their versions of Greek mythology retellings better than the American versions. Starting with the Medusa's sister, I got this one last year on a trip to Waterstones, and this year I got this one. I have not read any of Lauren's books yet, but I've heard very good things. Same thing with Pat Barker books. I've heard just absolutely the best things, have not yet read them. It's obviously a Clytemnestra retelling. One of my favorite things about Greek mythology retellings is that usually they will have the person in the name. And also just like, oh, the most beautiful books. Girl Goddess Queen is a Hades and Persephone retelling. Look at this book. I haven't read it yet, but I really want to. I very much want to read The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper. I know it's going to be kind of gruesome and sad, but I've heard such good things and I really want to read this series. This is my Natalie Haynes collection. I have read 1,000 Ships and absolutely loved it. This is a Trojan War retelling told from this perspective of all of the women of the stories who usually are severely underrepresented. Up here in my pretty sprayed edges gallery, I also have Stone Blind because this edge is gorgeous and it deserves to be shown out, but this is also by her. It's obviously a Medusa retelling told so well. And from those two, Natalie Haynes became an auto-buy author for me, so these are the three that I have by her that I have not yet read, but absolutely will get to. Daughters of Sparta is again a retelling for Helen of Troy and Clytemnestra. And then I have my Madeline Miller collection. I have both The Song of Achilles and Circe in their normal paperbacks. I have her short story Galatea, and I have these just beyond gorgeous versions of The Song of Achilles and Circe. The backs of those, the inside and the inside. And then lastly up here I have my Jennifer Saints. I have Ariadne, Atalanta, and Electra. It bothers me to no end. This is the one hardback to the two paperbacks, but I refuse to give up this version because it is just stunning. I wish I had the other two in hardback, but I can't really find them, and I prefer reading in paperback. Now, down here in the front, I do have some very old looking books that just don't fit in anywhere else. This is Tennyson's Idle of the Kings. I found these in a used bookstore. They are tiny and gorgeous, and they should be displayed, but I can't do it right now. Then A Second Century of Charades, His Fortunate Grace, Tales from Shakespeare, and The Theban Plays by Sophocles. And now we get into the mythology books that I have. First up here, I am such a sucker for these gorgeous books in Barnes & Nobles. So this is my Native American Myths and Legends. It is just beyond stunning. And like, look at the edges, look at that back. Oh my god, I'm absolutely enthralled by the design of these. And it is just chock full of stories. From that same vein, I also have these Chinese myths and folk tales. Again, just the most beautiful design. And again, just chock full of stories. Tales of Norse mythology. I could not say no to this. The back, and then just the whole thing. I'm a sucker. I will literally always buy these. Unfortunately, I've had trouble getting these stickers off in the past, which is driving me crazy, but this is classical mythology. Again, just the most stunning books that you can possibly think of. They're all illustrated. Here is one edge, and here is the other. And then you will see that I actually have a few editions of the Odyssey for obvious reasons. Here is one end paper. Here is the other. Incredible. Mythology of the American Nations, that end paper. Again, lots of pictures and stories and just, so much history in these. This is just a, like, overall mythology book. I think it goes all throughout the world. Like, there's Asia and the Americas and Oceania, just a who's who in mythology, if you will. This book I am particularly excited for. I got it kind of recently at an independent bookstore. It is Women of Myth, from Dear Woman and Mamawata to Amaterasu and Athena, your guide to the amazing and diverse women from world mythology. So, yeah. And just the most gorgeous illustrations. This is like a cloth bound book, and it is just beyond gorgeous. Tales of the Greek Heroes, Scottish folk and fairy tales. I did get this while I was in Scotland at an independent bookstore. I could not say no. This is a very old version of the Iliad, and I think it is just, it just gives you that feeling, you know? The Illustrated Book of Myths is a very treasured book from my high school time and college time. It is just world myths with just some of the best overviews that you can possibly imagine, with some really great illustrations. The Lost Lands is a magical history of Lemuria, Atlantis, and Avalon. So I think it is just, so cool. So cool. I do have a book on the Homeric hymns. This is a Harvard classic of the Odyssey. Tell me this is not the coolest thing ever. And currently my last version of the Odyssey. Like, oh my god. So cool. So cool. On this shelf, I do also have Bullfinch's mythology. Look at this behemoth. I feel like such a scholar when I have this book. And I have Bullfinch's The Age of Fable in this slipcase. And look how cool this book is. Look, the illustrations in it. I mean, just like, come on. I have a Who's Who in Mythology, Classic Guide to the Ancient World. And then these two books that are Pagan Portals, just more information about Morgan and Irish fair folk. Myths of the Norsemen, just a cute little companion book. Animal Frequency has to be one of the coolest books I've ever owned, because you open it up to lizard, gecko, and it talks about the traits of the animal, the talents, challenges, its primary element, its primary colors, its appearance, assists when, frequency, and also like see also. And so it basically goes through every animal you can think of and how they are seen in different mythologies over the world, what they represent. As a writer, this is really fascinating, but just on itself, this is just one of the coolest things that I can possibly imagine. A reference to 200 wild, domestic, and mythical creatures. Oh, Can you tell this is like one of my favorite topics ever? And lastly, another one of my just most cherished books. This thing is beat up. I found it for free. This is The Shining Stars, Greek Legends of the Zodiac. And essentially it is a story of all of the constellations in the sky and how they got up there. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a children's book, but I don't care. I love it so much. And then honestly, we're already down here, so let's go ahead and do my fairy tale shelf. It's just this one right here. This is the only like decor that I have. It is the Dark Academia bookcase puzzle from Illumicrate, and I just have nowhere else for it to go, so that's where it lives. So first up, all these books up top here are either recent purchases or they're too big. This is of course Loreland Bestiary. This is one of my most recent purchases, and I'm so in love with this book. It's not even funny. It details creatures from around the world as though they were real. And the author is also the illustrator. Oh, amazing. This is The Little Mermaid. I got this when they were doing their 50% off hardback sale. From the picture, I didn't realize it was going to be this big. It's massive, but it is very, very pretty. Clearly it's a children's book because it's The Little Mermaid, but I don't care. This is the Mythic Warrior's Handbook. Basically, it's like a choose your own adventure kind of book, and I thought it was hilarious. Once Upon a Time, A Short History of Fairy Tale. And then I have The Little Prince in both English and in French. Not that I speak French. In Irish Lore and Legends. Also up top here, I've had these companion books for longer than I can even imagine. I think since like middle school. This one is Gulliver's Travels and Treasure Island. And yes, when you open it, it does read one way, and then at one point it does flip upside down. These things are so cool. And then Little Men and Little Women, and Black Beauty and The Call of the Wild. And then down here I have 3 more books from Barnes & Noble that of course I cannot say no to. This is The Snow Queen and Other Winter Tales, one of seriously the most beautiful books I've ever owned. Is this supposed to come off? Oh my god, I think it is. Wow, it's like the about and it just came off. I've definitely read it with it on before, I don't know, but this is beautiful. I can't believe that was hiding from me. But look, the edges for this one are silver. Oh, beautiful. Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. Again, the design is just absolutely impeccable. There we go. I mean, oh my god. Yeah. And Dracula and Other Horror Classics. Just spectacular. Again, these edges are silver. I got these 3 from Books A Million, obviously for very cheap. I cannot believe these stickers are still on there. This one is Gothic Fantasy, Strange Lands, and Short Stories. Oh my god. Okay. Epic Tales, Beasts and Creatures, Myths and Tales. And lastly, Epic Tales, Gods and Monsters, Myths and Tales. Look, I love the color of this one. And then I do have quite a few books about Arthurian tales. So this one is The Story of the Champions of the Round Table by Howard Pyle. The Chronicles of King Arthur, Dark Age Warrior and Mythic Hero. The Acts of King Arthur and His Noble Knights by John Steinbeck. And Queen of Camelot. I also have yet to read this book, but I am particularly excited for it. It is Magic Has No Borders. It's a collection of magical South Asian tales. And look at this book! Oh my god. I want to get to it so badly. Aesop's The Complete Fables, The Mysterious Island. I actually loved this book. Around the World in 80 Days. I got this one in Lisbon while I was backpacking, and the day I bought it was my, I think, 79th or 81st day backpacking. It wasn't exactly 80 days, it was one off. I don't remember which side, but I thought I was like, you know what, this is perfect timing. Anderson's Fairy Tales with some illustrations in here. Look at that end paper. This one's a little random in here, but this is the Da Vinci Code. It is the huge version that my dad found for me. And lastly, perhaps one of the best books on these shelves, The Princess Bride. Look at this edition. Ugh, I'm in love. I'm so in love. Here is that end paper, and it is illustrated. And those are my fairy tale and mythology shelves. We are maybe about halfway through my bookshelves now. Let's see what else we have to go through. So here are my shelves. So far we have done my contemporary romance shelves and my historical romance shelves, aka my Regency romance. We've done my nonfiction, so that shelf is done. We do still have to do my general fiction and my author shelves, aka my SJM, whoa, focus, my Sarah J. Maas books and my Harry Potter books that are hidden behind there, as well as my Rick Riordan shelves that are up there. We've now done my fairy tale and mythology shelves, so those are all good. We do still have to do my special edition shelf and my bins on the ground. It's going to be a lot of dystopian books and a lot of YA and just like other books. And then lastly, I'm going to do my fantasy books, which are all of those. So out of my special edition shelf, my author shelf, my general fiction, and the books on the ground, let me know which one you want me to do next. But yeah, thank you so much for continuing on my bookshelf journey with me. They literally change every week anyway, so like I could go through this and then continuously keep redoing it, but I'm not going to. We're just gonna go through it once for now. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've got a few new books added to your TBR, and I will see you in the next one.